Welcome, Gales. I'm Rocky DePaolo, joined by Gregor Hope Murray, and today we're going to talk about some key matchups for Week 8 of the NFL season. Now, Gregor, the first matchup that catches our eyes is the Cincinnati Bengals, the undefeated Cincinnati Bengals at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, we know the Bengals are coming off a bye, still undefeated. How do they fare, or what do you think? How do they fare going into this game?
Well, first of all, it's a divisional game, and whenever I see a divisional matchup on paper, I say, no matter what their team's records say, you have to ignore them. It's a divisional game. It's going to be close, and it's anyone's game. And usually I would say it goes in favor of the home team in divisional games. But, there's always those few exceptions where you say, well, the road team really can just, stick it to the home team and beat them out in a tough, grindy game.
Well, you done?
No.
Are you continuing? Sorry, my bad.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So, with the Bengals, obviously they're undefeated, and the Steelers have their flaws. And the question is, can the Steelers actually get it done against the Bengals? Because I think at this point in time, you say the Bengals are pretty close to proving that they're the real deal. And if they beat the Steelers this Sunday, I'd say they're the real deal. I would say they've almost secured the division. And at that point, you start saying, when will they lose?
Now, I think after this game, regardless of this game, the Bengals are going to be for real, or they are for real, because the first test I said a few weeks ago, I said let's see if they can beat the Seattle Seahawks, and they were down 17, and they came back and won, so they're proving that they can come back trailing or having a huge deficit.
Well, with the Seahawks game, that was more, I know you got to give credit to the Bengals for them being able to come back and win that game, but I also say there's a lot of blame to be placed on Seattle there for blowing a lead like 17 points in the fourth quarter. Losing a lead like that is not done single-handedly by one team.
I disagree with you, my friend. I'm sorry. The Bengals are for real.
I'm holding my judgment because they have not won their division yet. You cannot claim that you are for real until you have a secure lock on your division. They need to beat the Steelers. If they beat the Steelers, they can claim they are for real. They've got a 3.5 game lead if they beat the Steelers.
Plus, they're going to have a formidable task this week because Ben Roethlisberger's been practicing this week, and he's expected to play, coming off the MCL injury that he suffered Week 3 against the Rams in St. Louis.
Yeah, which the Steelers desperately needed. I don't think they could afford it to go against the Bengals with their backup quarterbacks. They needed Ben Roethlisberger
Landry
back.
Jones was just horrendous.
Yeah, no, and Michael Vick wasn't getting it done either.
Since Roethlisberger went down, their offense have just, plummeted. Numbers just plummeted.
Well, at the beginning of the season, they were one of the highest scoring offenses in the league, and as soon as Roethlisberger left, it just fell off the face of the earth. They needed Ben in this game, and since the Bengals are seeing the Steelers pretty much back at their full strength, they have to prove that they can win this game. This is as hard as it's going to get for the Bengals. They have to beat the divisional opponent that has a winning record that can challenge them for the lead in their division. If they win this game, they're the real deal. They go into the playoffs, and I'll even say they may even take a first-round bye.
Yes, this will be a formidable task. It'll be another formidable task because they already accomplished one task, which is overcoming a huge deficit in the fourth quarter, which they did against the Seahawks.
Right.
Now they got to win in a hostile environment. You're going to have in Pittsburgh, Heinz Field, when you have roughly about, say, 50,000, people waving the terrible towel, renegades being played and whatnot, trying to pump the crowd. This is going to be another task for the Bengals. Let's see if they can pass it. A test.
Yeah. And if they do end up losing this game, I will stand where I am right now and still say I don't know where to put them right now, because the Bengals have proven in the past that when they had the lead in the division, they still found a way to lost it. So we'll see if they can hold on to it, and if they do win, good for them. If they're not, I would say same old Bengals.
Now on to the Sunday night game, the primetime game. You have two undefeated teams, the historic Green Bay Packers taking on the undefeated Denver Broncos in Denver. What do you think about this game?
Oh, man, I love games like this. We've been waiting for a lot of the season for a game like this, where we have two powerhouse teams clashing, and it's on Sunday Night Football, right where you want it to be. No one's going to be missing this game, and we haven't had a game like this really since the beginning of the season, where you can look forward to it and say, we've got two really good teams here. Who's going to win? And it's even better that we know that this time around, it's not going to be, the offensive shootout that it tends to be with these, winning teams. We got the Denver Broncos, which have been winning games on the back of their defense, not on
their
Peyton
defense
Manning.
is phenomenal.
Yeah, no, it's incredible.
They bailed them out. I have to say, they had to bail them out at least 3-4 times this year.
Well, yeah, exactly. The defense alone has been holding that team together, and it's not been Peyton Manning, which is incredible because I think a lot of people at the beginning of the season, if they said Manning was going to be throwing, maybe a touchdown a game and an interception or two a game, you'd say there's no way in hell they're going to be winning any games this season.
I think Father Times has caught up to him, though.
So it's a great game where we're going to see a really good defense go against a really good offense.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. That's the matchup I want to see in this game. How is Aaron Rodgers going to go? How is he going to do going up against this defense of the Denver Broncos? Because they have good coverage with Aqib Talib and Chris Harris. Great linebackers with Von Miller, and then I forgot the other guy's name. I know
Cameron Wake.
Cameron Wake, yeah. Not to mention T.J. Ward in the backfield, and DeMarcus Ware as the pass rush.
No, on paper the Broncos match up very well for the Packers offense, and they should, I think, limit this game below 20 points. I don't see this game going high above 20 points unless Aaron Rodgers really takes over and shows everyone why he is one of the top quarterbacks and why he has to get his respect.
If he does that, then you got to figure the Packers are the front favorites for the NFC to go to the Super Bowl.
Especially
if he wins this game, especially in that particular fashion, you got to consider that seriously.
I would definitely consider the Packers. If they win this game, I would put them as locks for the number one seed in the NFC. There's a few teams that can challenge them for that, but
they play Carolina, I think, next week. Not this coming Sunday, but the following. Yeah, that's going to be another interesting game.
But I don't think Carolina has been in that situation as much as the Packers have. The Packers have, as a team, been in playoff situations now for numerous years, whereas the Panthers only just reached that stage. The Packers have been there, and therefore I think they'll get it done against the bigger opponents because they have been there, which is why I'd say they're a lock for the 1 seed because they should be able to match up against the tougher opponents. They should be able to meet the adversity that they face and win.
But, yeah.
So what do you call it,
though? But the game is in Carolina, though. It's not in Lambeau Field. Because if it was in Lambeau Field, you got to give it the edge to the Packers. But if it's in Carolina, it's a toss-up.
Yes, I'll usually give it to the home team if it's at the home field. But I'll hold my choice on that game based on how this game against the Broncos comes out. Personally, I actually had the Packers winning. I think they will beat the Broncos, even though they're on the road.
Do you think this game is going to be a high-scoring game, a shootout, or is it going to be a low-scoring game, defensive matchup?
I believe it's going to be a low-scoring game. I don't see the score going above 20, but if it does, I think the Packers have won the game if the score goes above 20. So I'm going to say the score is going to be no more than 23-17.
I say probably Denver wins because of I have to give it to the home team. Mm-hmm. Despite, it being the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, I'd say Denver wins 28-21.
Okay. That's fair. I mean, usually I favor the home team, but in this matchup, I just don't. I don't like Denver.
There will be an onside kick at the end. I'll throw that mini prediction there.
Okay, that's a pretty. I'll say that's a pretty safe prediction. I think whoever's in the falling back position in there, they have the quarterback that can lead that drive.
Right.
That would lead to an onside kick.
But
in the Bengals Steelers matchup, who do you have?
You know what? It's tough to say because I want to see how Roethlisberger is with the knee or coming off the knee injury. But I think maybe the Bengals can pull this one out. I think so. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be 20-17 Bengals.
Okay, I actually see this game as a high-scoring game. I don't believe that this is going to be a game that's going to be pretty. I think it's going to have a lot of ugly play, meaning that there's going to be a lot of
breakthrough plays.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of things where people miss tackles, people miss assignments, and a few plays go over players' heads. And I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and it's not going to be over until the final minute of this game, where I think the Steelers will pull it out and beat the Bengals, but it's going to be a really, really back-and-forth game with a lot of just bad play, lots of scoring, but I think that's what you're going to see from these two divisional opponents. I'm going to go with the Steelers winning 31-27.
So in other words, Antonio Brown and AJ Green are going to have huge fantasy days.
Yeah. No, if you have any players on either one of those teams.
I have Andy Dalton on my Yahoo League, so I guess he'll put up some big numbers according to you.
Yeah, if you have any of those players on any of those teams, play them this week in fantasy because I almost guarantee it's going to be a high-scoring game.
It should be an interesting week of football, though. We're about the halfway point, so This is where we separate the pretenders and the contenders.
Yep.
All right, I'm Rocky DePaula. He's Gregor Hope Murray. Have a great day, Gales.